before I turn it over to Bo, I just want to say a few words. First of all, our name. Who was Justine Peterson? Perhaps we don't tell enough stories about individuals and institutions that have influenced our work. However, ultimately, it is those influencers who define the path for each of us in our work. Justine, in her work at the Acorn Housing Corporation in St. Louis, embodied the philosophy that to extend the American dream, access to safe and affordable capital could and should be more democratic and most widespread. So that was Justine's basic philosophy. And this was in the 1980s. And she understood that banks can create revenue, satisfy their CRA regulatory requirements, and do good for the community by working with local organizations to bring customers, often from the underserved community, into the banks for its products and services. 30 years ago, Justine and the community organization created a partnership with the two large banks at the time, Mercantile and Boatman's. Do any of us remember Mercantile and Boatman's? Of course we do. They morphed into other larger organizations, but Justine chose the two larger organizations to create an exciting, affordable, and accessible mortgage product. A product that satisfied those banks' safety and soundness requirements, and one that was accessible to the previously underserved. Justine was perceptive enough to know that if it was capital that her customers required, then it is banks with which she should partner. And the banking community understood that if it most practically wanted to satisfy its CRA regulatory requirements and bring customers through its doors, the bank should partner with legitimate organizations that bring approved customers. In the mid-90s, when Justine ran a community organization affiliated with a large church-based consortium, Justine partnered with faith-based actors to begin to develop micro-business loan funds in very small ways. And she discovered that the power and importance of credit scores and how they impact financial life. Today, our company continues to add value to our customers' experience by focusing on credit building. Justine continued to partner with local banks which understood and respected the one-on-one relationship lending model that successfully brought customers to market just as the bank's lending was becoming more transactional, less relationship. Unfortunately, in June 1996, Justine suffered a fatal heart attack, and some 6 months later, 5 board members and 3 operations staff founded the Justine Peterson Housing and Reinvestment Corporation. We designed it to memorialize Justine's work and, most importantly, to further the essence of her philosophy, access to safe and affordable capital, and to remain true to the promise to offer practical products and services to those families and individuals within underserved communities. So partnership with banks and other capital providers is in our DNA. Bank partnership is genetically embedded into our business models, into our business philosophy. Not only are we comfortable with partnerships, but that's what sustains us. Justine Peterson, the company, began like many of our small businesses begin, with a small amount of capital. We were financed with a $15,000 grant from Mercantile and a $10,000 loan from my wife. How many small businesses are capitalized, of course. For 3 years, we mainly played in the mortgage space. We had a Missouri and an Illinois mortgage broker license and a real estate broker license, and we were comfortable in that space. However, we realized that as demand grew from our small business constituencies, we found that the community development financial institution was the source for how we were going to expand. The Great Rivers Community Capital, we founded that in 2000. Great Rivers Community Capital is a C corporation which is wholly owned by the nonprofit Justine Peterson. As we began to transition into the small business lending area, our search for affordable and sustainable capital brought us to the Small Business Administration. Now, we in this room all know 7A and 504 products. Those are products that come out of banks and are partially guaranteed by the federal government, by the SBA. While Justine Peterson can now offer a 7A product, back in 2001, our relationship with the SBA began through a relatively new product in the SBA, something called the Microlending Intermediary Program. It makes full recourse loans. That's where the SBA makes full recourse loans to Justine Peterson and other organizations. So there's no guarantee. This is full recourse to Justine Peterson. And we in turn loan those funds to our end user business customer. The loan terms are 10 years, and we have purchased capital from the SBA from 0% to 3.5%. And in addition to pledging to pay back the SBA, we also commit to supplying our borrower customer with business technical assistance, to your incubator point, and which both adds value to our customer experience and enhances the security of our loan. So getting back to this theme of influencer, we learned the ins and the outs of small business lending and small dollar lending through and with the SBA's Microlending Intermediary Program. Just as we supply our customers with technical assistance opportunities, the SBA creates requirements on us, including setting aside a 15%, that's 15% loan loss reserve. So we've learned how to lend by doing it. And the SBA has been, in many ways, provided an incubator space for us to do what we're doing. More recently, the SBA has reduced JP's loan loss requirement to 10%. So as we solicit loan capital that we will in turn lend to consumers, we'll also suggest to you bankers and other investors perhaps a grant that will leverage that will leverage $10 of SBA capital for every dollar that's donated. So in the case of the Bank of Edwardsville, which made a $15,000 donation to Justine Peterson, we were able to take those funds and leverage $150,000 of SBA capital, which is significant. And thank you, Bank of Edwardsville, for that. To date, we have loaned over $12 million of SBA funds to more than 2,000 borrowers. And I'm proud to say that Justine Peterson is the second largest microlender in the country based on the number of loans closed. In her breakout session that will begin shortly, Sherry will discuss in detail our variety of investors. And what I wanted to do here is simply highlight and shout out the significant role that one large partner, one significant influencer, the SBA, has played in our Justine Peterson formation. With that, I would like to introduce the SBA Illinois District Director, Mr. Bo Steiner. We've offered at the table outside Bo's bio sheet, which describes in detail his diverse and remarkable career accomplishments. Bo is a Naval Academy graduate, flew helicopters in his multiple tours in the Persian Gulf, trained pilots, subsequently managed a $68 million budget for the Department of Homeland Security, transitioned to the private sector in sales and marketing roles, and early in 2013 returned to public service in his role as district director. I'm most excited to follow Bo's leadership, and I am most happy to give you Bo Steiner.
$342 loans, 342 businesses served. That's impact. And that's the impact that Justine Peterson's had in just the last fiscal year, equating to around $2.5 million in loans to small businesses, especially focused in that the low to moderate income business owners. That's a huge accomplishment, and we're thrilled as the SBA to have great partners like Justine Peterson to work with to help us provide access to capital to so many small businesses in the community. Again, my name is Bo Steiner. I am the district director for the Illinois district of the SBA. My team and I are responsible for making sure that as many people as possible, small business owners, entrepreneurs, lenders, are aware of the resources that are available to small businesses to help them start their business, to help them grow their business. And the ultimate end goal, right, is positively impacting the economy and growing jobs within our communities. So it's an absolute privilege to be here. I'm delighted to be here. And I did want to touch on a few things before we get to the announcement that I'm just thrilled to bring today. So when we talk about access to capital, we've had a number of great speakers today who pointed out some of the challenges that small business people face right now when they go to access capital, whether it's to start their business or they want to grow. And I think from the SBA standpoint, our focus is on how do we bring some resources to the continuum? How do we not only provide resources that'll help lenders mitigate their risk, to how do we help the businesses themselves prepare to grow capacity, to get where they want to be, and to help them grow their business so they can just hire more people and grow and reduce unemployment in our communities. So when we look at that, I think that it's important that we kind of start with thinking about how do we help small businesses at the get-go. And we've got, I'm going to outline what we call the 3 C's, which are really how we look at how SBA can help small businesses. That's access to capital, C number 1, small business counseling, C number 2, that's technical assistance, and government contracting. And I'm going to focus on the first 2 because I think that in this forum, those are the most relevant to what we're talking about. So we talked a lot about the different resources that can help small business with the funding, and obviously there's technical assistance with Justine Peterson. But what we also try to provide is a broad spectrum of business counseling resources, advisory resources to help a business, whether it's a startup who says, hey, I want to write a business plan, or I don't even know where to start. What do I need for licensing? What do I need to do with all these, what are the steps that I need to take? So what we do is we look at our partners. We have a number of partners, local partners, that I wanted to highlight here because they're so important and so integral to how we support our businesses. First is the Illinois Small Business Development Center. So the Illinois SBDC is 36 centers. They're celebrating their 30th year of existence, and they operate under the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We mentioned Mark Petrelli, state directors, here today, but I'd highlight that these centers provide encompass a broad range of services for small business. So they can help, if it's pre-venture, for sure, we can help you get started. We can help you write your business plan. But I think on a more strategic level, they want to work with existing businesses. So for the lenders in the room, you have that business that's just not ready. Or maybe it's somebody that already has a loan out that's struggling. Those are the people you can send them to get assistance, to get them back where they need to be, to make sure that they're repaying their loans, or to get them to the point where they're bankable. They work very closely with folks like Justine Peterson to make sure that we can help these small businesses in their success. We have 2 Small Business Development Center directors here today. We've got Patrick McKeon, who's already been highlighted here at SIU Edwardsville, and then Stephen Groner from Kaskaskia College is right here as well. So we've got some representatives here, but if you're in business and you're thinking about, gosh, I'm so busy, I'm worried about making my next payroll, I'm not even thinking a year down the road, getting with these people, they're the ones that can help you kind of take a step back. Think about how you can work on your business and think about how you can take it to the next step. Our other resources locally here are SCORE. And SCORE is an all-volunteer organization that provides one-on-one business counseling. And they come from a broad range of backgrounds and experiences. But again, They're there to help you as you're trying to formulate your business plan, your business concept, and looking for ways to grow, to truly grow your business. So I'd encourage you, if you're a business owner, to reach out to one of these resources. And if you're a lender, make sure that you have those relationships so that when somebody comes to you and maybe you can't lend to them at that point in time, you can get them to a resource. You're not just saying no, you're getting them to somebody who can help them and help them to get towards their goals. So that's number one. And number two is really, so that's the first C, the small business counseling. And I don't want to minimize the SBDC because Mark's organization has so many other resources available to help, whether it's with procurement technical assistance. So if you want to do government contracting, they can help you there. If you want to do international trade as a small business, they can help you there as well. So again, great resources, and it's so important for all small businesses to know about what's available to help them. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned this, but their services are free. It's the price is right. So any business that doesn't take advantage of it, I think they're missing out on an incredible opportunity. So then let's talk about access to capital. We've been talking a lot about the different programs, whether it's 7A, which provides guarantees to lenders to help them minimize their risk when they're lending to small businesses. Our 504 loan program focused on property and long-term capital equipment. Two of our key programs, they reach a lot of small businesses. In Illinois, we did nearly $1 billion in SBA guaranteed loans last year. So it's having an impact in the community. Those were probably around 1,100 loans last year at about $930 million. So we're having an impact there. Now, I think when we talk about a lot of underserved areas that are struggling to access capital, that's where we have our Community Advantage loan and product, and Mark talked a little bit about that. We're seeing some traction there, and again, this is mission-based lending. They're really trying to get the dollars in the hands of the populations that need it, the folks that can grow businesses in the community and drive job creation. So again, another program focused on getting the money where it's truly needed. And then we talk about kind of the third program that Justine Peterson is such a great partner on, and that's our Microloan Program. SBA looks at it, it's a program that we lend to our intermediaries. They can go up to $50,000. And I think with JP, they're about $7,500 average loan value. So you can see that's a nice size for a lot of businesses that are looking to start, have maybe low cost of entry, but folks that maybe can't access traditional lending through a commercial lender. And I think the other benefit that an organization like Justine Peterson brings is that technical assistance component, where they can help the business look at their financials, help them with their personal credit to get them ready to be bankable by Justine Peterson, but as I think they mentioned earlier with Galen, get them bankable so that then they can go to PNC or other lenders, traditional commercial lenders. And it's such a great synergy between that personal credit piece, that business credit piece that helps mature some of these businesses to allow them to make that leap, to allow them to grow, and to allow them to have that impact. So, which brings me to something I am incredibly pleased to announce. Illinois currently has 2 microlenders in the state. We have Acción Chicago, which is located in Chicago, obviously, and generally covers the northern part of the state. And we have Justine Peterson, which has covered parts of the Metro East area. And I am delighted to announce that Justine Peterson is expanding their territory in the state of Illinois to encompass 73 counties across the state. So that's nearly all of central and southern Illinois will now be covered by Justine Peterson, because they see an opportunity and a great challenge to expand there. For those of you in the room who aren't familiar with Justine Peterson, they already cover the entire state of Missouri, parts of Kansas. So they're expanding where they see a need, where maybe there hasn't been as significant coverage as there needed to be, and they're going to be a great asset to the small business community, to the resource partners that are out there, and to all of our lenders across the state. And again, I congratulate Justine Peterson. I look forward to working so closely with them as we promote and create awareness around what they're doing in our communities. And I'd like just to give a round of applause to Rob and his team for taking this bite and making this commitment to the state of Illinois and to our community at large. So thanks again, Rob. Thank you all for having me here. We really appreciate it. As the SBA, we love an opportunity to support our partners and to talk to our small business owners, lenders, and other folks who are supporting small business. So thank you again.